We kick off our discussion segments on TMI Monday with conversations on Edo 2020 and the MOU debate. Today on the program, I have with me in the studio the Special Advisor, Media and Public Affairs. I'd like to thank very specially Kuso Usagi for joining us on the program. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
We also have with us in the studio Ahmed Momodu, who of course is a member of the Publicity Subcommittee of the APC Campaign Council for Edo 2020. Ahmed, many thanks for joining us on the program.
Thank you for having me, Sandy.
Okay, two key things that has been trending with the present administration is one, wait and see, and the other is MOU government. But today, we're leaving out the wait and see part of it and focusing our attention on all the debates around MOU. And no other better person would have been able to give us some insight into what this is about, and then we'll cross-check that with Ahmed Modu here. In the course of the program, just want to also let you know that you'll be able to contribute to the discussion via this number that you'll see on the screen as we get along, so you'll be able to add value to the conversation. Let me start with Crusoe. Edo State government is being described in some quarters as an MOU government. Do you see this in the negative sense or in the positive sense? Whichever side of it that you see it from, what is the true situation in that regard?
Well, they're actually very correct. This is an MOU government. Governments around the world always depend on partnerships to be able to deliver development programs for people. There's nowhere in the world where the money or funds available with the public sector is sufficient to drive the kind of development that will lift the people out of poverty and put them on the path of sustainable growth and development. So that's why you need partnerships. That's why you need understanding with different groups and organizations. You know, and that's where the MOU comes in. Without an understanding, without an agreement, without an arrangement, you can't tap the vast resources that's available in other spheres of the society apart from the public sector. For example, in Edo State, our budget hovers around $350 million per annum, you know. But if you cross-check that with what happens in other parts of the world, for example, University of UCLA, UCLA, that's what they call it. I can't
get the correct. Okay. Yeah.
UCLA has a budget of over $1 billion.
That's a university.
A university in America, in California. You know, so if a university in California has a budget that's bigger than what Edo State has, so you know, how can you drive development for over 4 million people using only $400 million? What you now need to do is to use that $400 million mostly as a seed fund to tap into the opportunities in the vast business space in the United Nations, in what we call multilateral financial institutions like the World Bank, you know, European Commission, so on and so forth. And the first step to take into tapping, you know, these available resources in these different spheres of our society, of the world, is an MOU. You have to enter into an understanding with them. Okay. And this government has used it very, you know, intensely to drive development for our people.
Okay. I'll come back to you in a moment. Ahmed, what's your take on this description of the present administration as an MOU government? Is it in the negative sense or in the positive sense?
Yes, it's let's get some kind of point of reference. When you talk about MOUs to drive an economy, it's in the negative sense as far as the Edo State government is using it. It has been described as a memorandum of underdevelopment. When you come into government, you are expected to bring an agenda that drives your priorities and how you want to move the state forward. I would have expected the respected.
We'll get to that
advisor
point. We'll get to that point. Yes, I just wanted to get your intake. I mean, on this whole perspective first. We'll get to that point.
So that's my perspective. It has been memorandum of underdevelopment.
Not memorandum of development.
Yes, underdevelopment, MOU, because we've had series of promises. At this point, this is a referendum of a tenure. We shouldn't be talking about what we are promising now. We should be talking about what we've achieved before you now start talking about where we go from here. Okay. So this is the conversation that I want us to have.
Okay, so
this is the basis of our discussion.
Okay, let me come to the SA media. In the positive sense, based on the background that you gave, to what extent have we used MOU to transform or change the narratives in terms of development and the lives of Edo people in the last 3 years?
Tremendously, tremendously. People see what they want to see, people hear what they want to hear, and it's unfortunate. This government has used the instrument of understanding with different groups and different organizations, to drive development for our people, and in amazing ways. Okay. So sometimes when somebody takes governance above the level that you are used to, instead of criticizing, why not try to understand it? That's what I always tell my colleagues in the opposition. Try to understand it. If somebody uses a trick that is bigger than what you have ever had to think about or had to implement, instead of just blindly criticizing, you try to understand it. Say, what is this? What does this really mean? There's a reason why Cristiano Ronaldo prices for as much as he prices in the leagues where he plays, while other players price less, because he has some tricks. So straight to the different thing. There are several projects. Okay. Power is a major challenge in our country. Our country has hardly ever been able to, at least in the last 2-3 decades, give adequate power supply to the people. And we have an MOU there. We had an MOU with Osiomo CCETC for the generation of 55 megawatts power supply for our people. Okay. And as we speak today, that project is 100% complete. We are reticulating as we speak now. Reticulation means to take the lines to different buildings and different institutions that are going to use it. Osiomo is in Ologbo, in Edo State. And as we speak today, the Secretariat Building Complex, the Government House, the stadium, all the government facilities along Sapele Road, they are all going to be powered by Osiomo Power. And that was from an MOU signed between that company and the government. The government had a power purchase agreement with them to get about 22 megawatts from them. That seeded the investment to create that 55 megawatts. Okay. And it's going to be expanded to 550 in the next couple of years. Like he said, we need to make promises and then talk about where we are going to. Where we are now with Osiomo is 55, but the way it is designed, you have slots for 10 compartments. So we have one compartment now, which is 55. Another one will come in later. It's plug and play, so all the turbines are just going to be plugged in till we get to 550. So where we are going to is 550. Where we are today, where MOU has gotten us to today is 55. Okay. I can go on and on. They've been talking about modular refinery until we shocked them with the pictures. The place is now 70%, above 70% complete. Edo State now is a unique state in Nigeria, one of the few, I don't think if there's any, that has a modular refinery project going on. That project, as we speak now, is over 70%. It was an MOU that gave birth to that. The government cannot muster all the resources you need to build a modular refinery. What about the only estate built by government in the last 25, 30 years, Emotan Gardens? Upper Sakwamba side. Phase 1 is 100% complete. As I'm talking to you now, people are living there. That was an MOU between the Edo State government and Mixta Africa. Mixta Africa is a very giant real estate company that produces, delivers affordable housing to people across Africa. I can go on and on. You have, we have an MOU with Main 1. Edo State, as we speak, we have fiber optic cable around Benin City. That one is already, that's phase one, already complete, 100%, 400 kilometers, fiber optic cable across the state. As I'm talking to you now, Lagos is just beginning their own. Lagos just started there, I think, last week to lay fiber optic cable across their state. We have done ours in Benin City. We're not going to move to Edo Central and then Edo North. It's 100% complete. I can go on and on.
Okay.
You know, so MOUs are used. Jara Mall, you know, these domestic shop where people buy things.
Household items and stuff like that. Yeah.
Jara Mall on at that junction where EDPA is. It's a memorandum of understanding between the government and the company that owns that.
Okay.
You can only drive sustainable development.
So you're saying there are physical, touchable, feasible projects that MOU has brought, and these are some of them.
Yeah, I can take you on the tour today if you want to go there.
All right, so let me
take my friend as well.
Let me get your thoughts on these achievements with the MOUs, a justification for the title of MOU government. Ahmed.
For us to have any form of reference, we have to have the actual figures that compose these MOUs. It's normal for government to have public-private partnerships with different kinds of companies, but we cannot be talking out of the air. If you want us to know the specifics of these jobs, tell us the component of government's involvement in those projects so that we can have a realistic understanding of what you are saying. If you are talking about Osisi-Omo or any of these projects, Jara, wherever it is, give us the facts and figures. Government's component, investment, the seed amount, how much this project cost, where the project is, and give us these facts and figures. This is what the Edo people are expecting. You have claimed that you are wait and see. We agree. Let us wait and see the facts and figures of all these projects. This is the time for the scorecard of the government. It's not a time to be building castles in the air. Godwin Obaseki came out and promised Gele support. Where is it? Let us know the current condition of Gele support.
Okay, now we'll get to that point.
Hold on. I'm not going to accept that you will ask me here and make me a figurehead. No. As soon as I start talking, you interject.
Just hold on.
You gave the essay enough time to speak.
Because I gave you time to explain, because you said...
Then you allow me to come out.
Let's put this discussion in the right direction. You started by saying that you expected him to tell the people watching what MOU has produced for the state. And I told you we were going to get to that point. And my second question was that he should give us insight into what MOU has produced for the state. He listed Osisi-Omo, he listed modular refinery, he listed a motor gun, he listed I expected you to say either these projects are not real or they are real. But the point you raised was that we need to know the specifics. The specific you're talking about, is it that the projects are not real, or the products are not products, or the projects are not product of MOU? And then you start talking about Gele. We will get to that point. That's why I said today, the wait and see aspect is not the basis of our conversation. The basis of our conversation is on the MOU.
Okay, let us refocus.
Yes, that's the point.
So the point is, we are talking about MOU and what it has produced.
Yes.
We cannot be talking out of the air. We cannot be drawing. I know what Jara is, but what is the composition of that for it to be attributed to this administration? That's the simple question. If you are talking of Osisi-Omo plants, what is the component of government's involvement? We need to know what the specifics are. I cannot just be coming and saying Jara is as a result of MOU. Public-private partnership is a normal thing in any part of the world. But when government is saying that we are driving development based on specific policies, let us have the facts and figures. Let us know what government has done, how much they seeded, who is the oversight, partnership. Let's know the structure of these companies. It cannot just be done in abeyance. The primary responsibility of government is to tell the people how these funds are generated, where they are spent, and who is responsible for generating the money and spending the money that comes from those projects. That is what we are expecting. So this should be the foundation of whether the MOU is successful or not just their physical presence. If we don't know the composition of Jara, for example, then how do we know how it's helping the average man on the street? If we don't know the composition of Osisi-Omo, how do we know what it is going to cost us after this administration to come to terms with what they've done? These are the salient facts that we need to highlight.
Okay. All right, thank you. Let me just key you in to some of the issues that he raised. I think it's also
answer those questions.
yes, and I think it's also part of some of the issues that are there in the public domain, that a whole lot of activities, if not all the activities, particularly as it relates to some of this contract, they are shrouded in secrecy. How do you justify that, or what's the reaction to that?
You know, I said earlier that sometimes we see what we want to see and we hear what we want to hear. That's how human beings are wired. You know, so especially when you already have your mind made up about what you want to believe. You know, none of these projects, there's no one of them that's shrouded in secrecy. I talked about Osiomo and the government's MOU. That MOU is based on the power purchase agreement. The power purchase agreement is to the extent that the government, you know, decided I'm going to provide you with certain enablers to ensure you can invest, you know, land, title to land, access, and so on and so forth, other regulatory waivers to ensure that you can kick off.
So that means Edo State government money is not there, as in Edo State didn't put money into it.
It depends on what you call money.
So what is the percentage of the MOU?
I can't begin to give you the details of the numbers right here.
Okay.
So won't make mistake and mislead the people. What the figures are there? It depends on what you call money. You know, some people are very rich, but they don't have cash in their bank accounts. Sure. They have properties. Sure. They have, you know, they have lands. They have shares and so on and so forth. And that's capital. And this through capital you get financing. You know, so if the government provides access to land and proper titles to land and waivers and so on and so forth, you can work that into equity into a company, you know, and own a significant component of that company. And then also the government provided guarantee to this company that, you know what, when you start producing, we'll guarantee you that we'll buy a certain amount of the power from you. So which means that the investor already knows ab initio that his product is going to be consumed, at least almost 50% is already taken. It's just like if you're going to fry akara today and somebody comes to tell you the day before that, you know, all the akara you're going to fry today, I'm going to buy half of it. As a matter of fact, the money for half of it has been set aside. Is that not going to enable you go out early that morning to fry as much akara as possible? Because, you know, someone has already guaranteed that he's going to take half of it from you. You know, so that's for Osiomo. And for all the other projects, you know, the government has its contribution. You know, and that's why I started the way I started. Okay. Government must be taken to another level. It's no longer where the money, let's chop it, you know, like it used to be. You know, now it is how do we use the little money we have as a precursor for more funds to flow into the economy for the advancement of that. So and let me add that the respected Comrade Adams Oshiomhole signed a couple of MOUs himself, and I can tell you some of them right here. Azura MOU, it was an MOU that led to the development of Azura power plant, and Oshiomhole signed it. You know, he signed it. There's the water supply project this government had with European Union. It was signed in an MOU by Comrade Adams Oshiomhole in 2014. Although his brain box, Godwin Obaseki, is the one that arranged it for him, but he's the one that signed it.
So he has always been the architect of MOU.
Yeah, he's an MOU master. We agree. Okay. But the MOU is bringing dividend of democracy.
Okay, let me come to Ahmed. To what extent do you think that messaging, as far as the campaigns are concerned, the election is concerned, the MOU messaging is being accepted by the people as a major factor in this election?
The people can only understand the message that they see. The governor is owning the fact that his way can see. So let us see this project. If, as the SA has claimed, Osiomo is 100%, why are we not talking about commissioning it? The governor has barely 2 months, 3 months at the most, to leave. At what point will these laudable projects be commissioned? Instead of inviting the president to come and commission projects, he was inviting the president to come and sit at primaries. So we want to see action. This is the time for a physical referendum. This is the time for facts and figures. I'm very disappointed that the SA will come and sit in front of Edo people and tell us he doesn't have facts and figures. This is not the time for that. We need a serious administration that will come with facts and figures. Tell us the composition of each of these projects that you have done, the jobs it has created, the physical location, bring pictures, be ready. We are asking the Edo State Administration to come and tell us what they've done in 4 years. And we want to start seeing these jobs physically. We want to see these projects. We want to know what it has cost. Because if the administration is to continue, it is on the basis of that scorecard that we will be asking these questions. If you claim that UCLA has more money than Edo State, I don't even know what the basis of that comparison is. But the governor is aware of what is generated in Edo. He should come and be telling us how he has increased the revenue, what he has done with that revenue, instead of some baseless comparison between Edo State and UCLA. What's the basis of that? We need a focused administration. We need the SA to give us facts and figures. And if he's not ready to give us facts and figures, then I don't know what we are doing here. I am ready for facts and figures. If you are not going to interject, I will tell you other MOUs that have not been done. Gelekele Seaport is outstanding. 200,000 jobs, where is it? 1 health center per local government. That's 18 health centers. These ones are even easier than the ones that he has mentioned. What is the state of them? We are talking of agri-millionaires, sobe farms, industrial parks, model farms in 18 local governments. Siemens was even supposed to have come and helped to develop the economy. Affordable housing. Now, the government and the SA have created the idea that somehow Benin is the whole of Edo State. That's false. What is going on in Edo Central and Edo North? Is Benin the whole of Edo State? No. You cannot develop little patches of Benin and come and be deceiving Edo people that we have done this, we have done that. No. How about the other senatorial districts? Are they not part of Edo State? These are the questions that we want the SA to answer. Okay. And I'm not going to sit down here. Yes. No, I'm not going to sit down and be part of a discussion that is in the air. All right. If the SA is not prepared to give us facts and figures, I'm just going to remain silent.
All right. Just so we'll get to that point, and we're getting to that point right now, right away. But just to let our viewers know that you can contribute to the program via WhatsApp. The number is 07067107477. You can WhatsApp us on that number right now and right away. Then you can also tweet at us at ITV Radio NG. Send all your comments, your contributions to the discussion on Edo 2020 and the MOU debate using these platforms that I've just brought you. So, Mr. S.A., give us insight into some of the key issues that he raised. Now, I'm not sure you have a comprehensive knowledge about how many MOUs are there under this present administration. Which of these MOUs have been activated? Which are the ones that haven't been activated? Like the ones that he mentioned that haven't been activated, where are we with them? I mean, Ekewaro, for example, is in a pilot state at the moment. So give us some thoughts along this line.
Yeah, well, you talked about Benin River Port. That's what he's referring to as Gele Gele. By the way, it's not Gele Gele, it's called Benin River Port.
It's popularly known as Gele Gele.
The Benin River Port.
We will speak the language of the people.
The Benin River Port is actively ongoing. You know, like I said, when somebody takes a game beyond what you are able to understand, what you need to do is to ask the person, because the person is more intelligent than you or he has more experience than you. That's why he has been able to deliver like that, and he's confusing you like a bragadabra. You ask, say, what are you, how are you doing this?
Like we're asking.
Yeah, like you're asking. Okay. So let me explain it to you.
Okay.
So Gele Gele or Benin River Port, it's you don't just wake up and a seaport grows up. You know, at a marina. No, there are different regulatory approvals you need to get from the federal government. There are several studies you need to do, environmental impact, all kinds of things. There are a lot of economic studies you're also going to do, and then also there are many ancillary projects that are tied to the port. For example, if you look at what's happening in Lagos today, you know, my office where I work, these day newspapers, is located at 35 Creek Road. We can't even access our office anymore because the road is jammed, you know, with trucks, you know, queuing up to pick up things from the seaport, because the seaport is very, very close to to that place. Which means that when you're setting up a seaport, you must do an impact analysis. What should the roads be like around the area where that port is going to be located? How many warehouses should be around that area, and so on and so forth. And then you begin to invest in those things as portions of the overall project that you're going to do. So the Kenwa you spoke about is part of the Gele port project, because that road leads right into that community where the port is going to be located. So it has to be expanded, and it has to be made, in such a way that large trucks and heavy vehicular traffic that would result from the siting of the port there, the road has to be able to accommodate it. And so all these ancillary projects have started, and all the studies are being concluded. These are various stages in the delivery of that project. So the MOU for Benin River Ports, which you refer to as Gele, is actively ongoing. You want to talk about the industrial park, actively ongoing. We have secured what we call an anchor tenant for the Benin Industrial Park. That's what we call an industrial park. We have an anchor tenant. What you do when you're setting up an industrial park, you want to have a tenant that is the main tenant, and then all the other producers will be anchored on that tenant. Without that main tenant, you cannot get all the others. It won't be a viable investment. So we have secured the anchor tenant, and it's a producer from China. That's going to be the main tenant, and then the other tenants are coming in, and then we're putting all the studies in place. The respected Captain Hossa Okumbo, his daughter, is the person who was driving that project for us. She's the one working with the federal government to get all the approvals. You can ask Captain Hossa to tell you, he's one of your major financiers, to tell his daughter to explain this to you. Okay. So and several other.
Okay, now let me just ask you a question before I come to.
No, you have to now ask me.
Okay, so let me get your reactions to this here.
You see,
in all that he has said,
everything that he has said, I want to make a challenge today, and I want everybody to pay attention. Invite us again in a week, and let the respectable SC bring all this information that I've requested for, and let us present it to the Edo people. We don't want all of these stories. We are tired of stories. We are tired of it is in this, it is in that, it is. Bring the facts and figures. If a Kenwa road that is leading to the seaport has not been completed, when are they going to complete the seaport? Is it in 2025? We want the facts and figures. That's what we are asking for now. Okay, he has mentioned some of these things in abstract. The ones I've mentioned, we have not even addressed them. Let us even leave the area of MOU and go into physical development. In the course of this administration, we've had 7 major fires. 7 major fires. Let me list them for you. Hallmark Supermarket, 11 December 2016. Uwelu Spare Parts Market, 14th October 2019. Santana Market, 20th of October 2019. Oliha Market, 17th December 2019. Oba Market, the most recent one, 22nd of June 2020. Till tomorrow, Obaseki has not provided fire services that can adequately stop this problem that our people are suffering. He will go to those markets, make promises, and leave until the next fire. He made that promise in Hallmark, he made it in Welu, he made it in Santana, he made it in Oliha, he made it in Oba Market. Promising them equipment and infrastructure to stop this scourge. What has been done about that? We are talking about Gele seaports and this. These things are not affecting the people. The people want to see and interact with government on the basest level. You are telling me that you are more intelligent, so you cannot condescend to my level to explain. Your work should speak for itself. I don't need you to talk to me. I should be able to see what you are doing. If there have been 7 fires, and the state government has not even interacted with one of them, you are bringing intelligence. What has intelligence got to do with it? We are not looking for an intelligent man. We are looking for somebody that can interact with the Edo people and give them their mandate. Their mandate requires the preservation of their life, the sanctity, and economic benefits. Let us ask these questions. And I'm making this claim again. In a week, invite me again, invite the Honorable SC. Let him bring the facts and figures that he doesn't have now, so that we will interact ourselves, we will interrogate these issues properly.
Okay. If you just want to see TMI Monday, The WhatsApp number is on the screen. You can send your contributions to that number. Please ensure that you do not cast aspersion on any of our panelists here or anyone that is involved in the subject of our discussion. And please always endeavor to attach your name so we know that human beings actually send those messages. Okay, let me bring you up to speed now. When you talked about the Gelegele Seaport project, was it anticipated to be completed within the first term of this administration, or was it anticipated to exceed the first term of this administration? If it was intended to be completed during the first term of this administration, why was it made as a promise and it looks like it's work in progress even as we speak? Yeah,
well, you know, when you embark on projects, there are many variables, and things can change as you go along the way. What's important is whether you're still on course in delivering that project to your people. So you know, you intend. Everybody wants to do whatever is good for his people quickly, but as you engage on you know, as you get, you know, about doing those things, many things pop up. You resolve them. You know, and then sometimes you have to change the time for delivery. Sometimes budget change. Sometimes, you know, sometimes you achieve time and budget. Sometimes you have to adjust the time and budget. You know, so yeah, a seaport is not a simple project. And otherwise, why did other governments before Obaseki not even venture to do it? So we're actively working on it. You know, all the ancillary projects attached to it are being developed. You know, and we're going to get to it. And let me address some of the issues you talked about, the fires. Yes, we have also solved that problem. We've entered into a very strong relationship with the Federal Fire Service. We have several fire trucks in Benin as we speak, in Edo State as we speak. We are dispersing to other senatorial districts, and that problem has been solved. You know, if you've ever been a good mathematics student, you know that there is no one single way to the solution to a problem. And when you tie yourself to only one path, then there are limits to the solutions you can bring to problems. So the governor is an expert in using different approaches to solve problems. What he expects is that, we want the governor to go and stand in front of every market and be quenching the fires when the fires start. That's not the way to solve the problem. You have to enter into relationships. Look for people with capacity. You know, connect with them. You know, enter into understanding, and then get the problem solved. And that's what. So
we're solving this problem without the Edo State Fire Service. That's what it is.
There is a collaboration between the Edo State Fire Service and the Federal Fire Service. The Federal Fire Service is far more resourced than Edo State Fire Service. And there's no point reinventing the wheel when there's already an organ of government that has most of the things that you need. Just like the training center, the John Odike Oyegun Training Center in GRA and Benin. Before we even started building it, we entered into a relationship with UNITA, United Nations Institute for Training and Research. You know, instead of going to look for curriculum with which to teach the civil servants and train them every other time when they come for training, why not get an institution that's already versed and established in doing that? So that's what. That's what you get. Then I just remembered one MOU from Edo North, which we signed, and we have also delivered. The fertilizer plant in Auchi is functional.
Now, I have my next question, really. I have my next question, but we're taking a short break now, so we can continue this conversation on a wider scope. But just to let you know that the number to send your WhatsApp messages to is already there. Please ensure you send the message to that number. You can also, the number is on the screen now. You can also WhatsApp us using Twitter handle. Send us a tweet using our Twitter handle at ITV Radio NG. TMI continues in a moment after this short break. Don't go away.
TMI, every opinion counts.
Many thanks again for staying with us on the program TMI Monday with yours sincerely. Our conversations today is centered on Edo 2020 and the MOU debate. Joining us staying in the studio here, we have the SA Media Crusoe Sagi. Crusoe, many thanks again for coming.
Thank you for having me.
We also have Ahmed Mahmoud, a member of the Edo State APC Campaign Council. Ahmed, many thanks for coming on the program.
Thank you, Sonny.
Okay, are you in any way concerned, Ahmed, that if this government is described as an MOU government, it means that to a large extent, majority of the things this government has done is through MOU? Perhaps the question will be the budget year in, year out in the last 3 years leading to the 4th year. What has it been done with if it's relied so much on MOU? I'm sure you want to say something about that. Are you concerned about that?
Yes, I'm concerned that the description of MOU has the negativity attached to this administration because it hasn't performed. It hasn't lived up to the promise of MOU. MOUs in themselves are not a bad thing. The essay is quite right. Most societies are driven by public-private partnerships on the fundamental level. But the idea that every government action should be based on some kind of MOU is where we're having a problem. The essay tried to trivialize a very serious issue that I raised. He said, I expect the governor to stand in front of the market. That's not just insulting, it's belittling on the intelligence of the Edo people. We don't expect the governor to stand in front of market fires and quench fires. Is he going to use saliva? No. An average fire truck is in the range of 10 at the most $15 million. We don't need foreign fire service to come and help us in an MOU that he doesn't want to call MOU to help us quench fires. So let us address issues as they arise. If you are more intelligent than people, bring yourself down to their level and explain. This is what Obaseki promised us when he came 4 years ago. Achieving economic prosperity in Edo State. I want you to come in and see it. Come in and, this is what Obaseki promised. This is what SA should be addressing.
Has this been achieved?
Look, asking you.
I'm asking you.
No, it has not been achieved. If you want, I will list them out for you one by one. I will list them out. That's why I gave you a challenge. I said he should come back in 1 week and bring, I will bring mine, let him bring his. We are the ones that packaged Obaseki and brought him there. So I'm asking, the question we are asking is a very simple question.
Okay.
How have we achieved economic prosperity in Edo in 4 years? This is Obaseki's agenda in 2016. It's a very simple conversation. So if we have that as the basis of our conversation, we can now, whether the governor is here, SA is here or not, we can use something like this to tell us where we are going. In 4 years, Obaseki should have something like this that tells us what he has done. We don't need any interpretation from SA. If I want, I can change my accent to an American accent. Perhaps that might be easier for him to understand. But what we are saying here is simply that this is the time for a report card. This is the time for a physical understanding, see, wake, and see of what the governor has done. We don't need interpreters. Okay. That is where we are now.
So yes.
Well, you know,
building up from the last question that I asked.
Yeah. It doesn't look like you listen. My friend is listening. I've reeled out several projects, but he doesn't seem to be listening. If we built a 55 megawatts power plant in conjunction with Osiomo, does that not impact on the economy? If we've run fiber optic cable around the city, around Benin City, 400 kilometers fiber optic cable, and then it means therefore we're going to have faster internet and so on and so forth, and then e-commerce will be activated. Does that not impact on the economy? If we have we are building a modular refinery that is now almost 70% complete, does that not impact on the economy? And so on. If we have built an affordable housing scheme in Upper Sakmomba, Emotan Gardens, does that not impact on the economy? If we have entered into an understanding that gave us Jara Mall, and people are now able to supply, because one of the arrangements with Jara Mall is that they take their products from the local manufacturers, does that not impact on the economy? If we are building all the roads that were built in the course of this government, does that not impact on the economy? If we have built the secretariat building that were built that is towering around Sapele Road, does that not impact on the economy? So you say, what has the governor done to improve the economy? And I'm telling you, And you people have always said that we didn't have an agenda, but you are holding one, and you are saying that that is our agenda. Have you not been saying that?
I don't know when you say you people. I've got your agenda. So if you are talking about let's take it. No, you can't say you people when I brought agenda.
You showed us something and said this was Obasanjo's agenda in 2016. Is that not what you said?
Yes.
But you hear them always saying that Obasanjo does not have an agenda. Meanwhile, they have something with them that they know is Obasanjo's agenda. But I want to let you know, Edo people, that we have exceedingly superseded what Obasanjo promised in 2016 in amazing ways. In agriculture, we have the agripreneur scheme functional. We had hiccups at the beginning. We went through the learning curve. Now it is smooth sailing. In infrastructure, we are doing very well. Roads are being constructed. Buildings are being put up. Okay. You can see all of them dotting the city. In civil service reforms, pensioners are doing very well. You know, they get their pensions as and when due. Their process for verification simplified. You know, biometric methods, so they don't die on the queue again trying to get verified to get pensions. You know, their training is now constant and continuous. You know, just name it. You know, this government has touched every segment of our lives as a people.
Okay, let's take a short break from you guys. Let me get some feeds from some of the WhatsApp messages coming in. The first one, I'll skip it because you didn't put your name there. And we've also advised that you avoid casting aspersion on our guest here. So I'll skip the first message. But let's look at the other one. It says, please tell the APC man to stop questioning the PDP man with irrelevant questions because we are seeing what our government is doing. Obaseki constructed 5 roads in Igobazua. Okay, this other one says, Crusoe is intelligently tackling questions thrown at him. Why the aggressive approach to tackling questions by the APC council spokesman, MOU's birth development? Wow, I didn't quite get that. It's obvious that the SSA does not have anything to show for the 4 years of Obaseki's administration. Good morning, I am Royal from Aurora. My contribution is to tell Mahmoud to stop deceiving Edo people with his statements. Even a blind man can see the works of the weak and see governor. I commend the APC campaign council for having time to come for the program, but it's disappointing that it's not sincere. All through the time of Oshomole as governor, Dan Obi insisted on knowing the constituents of Edo University, and till this day, Edo people know nothing about it. A man who seeks equity must come with clean hands. But it's obvious APC only want power, not that they have power. All right, and good morning. Most of the projects are long-term projects. I'm a witness to Iriri Sapele Road bypass that has made a lot of landowners rich. This is coming from Shola. I want the SA and media to tell Edo people how has these projects impacted the lives of Edo people and the cost as counterparts to the state. Good morning. Mr. Ahmed is talking about MOU and talking about figure. Why not study the MOU and get your figures? Good morning, sir. My name is Elvis. I'm from Benin. That man that is talking about MOU, governor, can compare all a promise for 4 years. I didn't quite get that. Government is not about political criticism, but saying it out it is. Okay, I suggest that APC man should visit all the 18 districts. I'm sure you formed the trip. All right, our land that he collected in industrial park till tomorrow, no compensation. Good morning, I'm Etiosa Osawe from Benin City. I believe state government projects are for the benefit of its citizens, especially taxpayers. How can citizens benefit from the state attracted housing estate at Upper Sokumba? Hope it isn't meant for party men or political friends alone to benefit from. Thanks. Then good morning, Mr. Sonny Duke Oposo. I want to appreciate you for this wonderful discussion this morning. Thank you. When some persons have biased mind, no matter what you tell them, they can't understand. Edo State government have done a lot through the MOU signing, and one of the breakthrough just now is the modular refinery and Oshomo Power Project. So persons are not happy with it, then it shows that they don't like development. Obaseki MOU are now reality. Wellington Usadoro, thank you. Governor Godwin Enogega said Obaseki is a man that goes into battle without weapons and still comes out victorious. And that makes him wait and see governor of Great Benin, Edo State, and Nigeria in general. I am Mr. Uche Naduru from Oko Central, GRA, Edo State. The APC man is asking about facts and figures. Are the projects not on the ground? Are the projects not on the ground? Are people not employed already by working there? And just a simple pharmacy spends up to $1 million on generators fuel. Now imagine that power plant taking care of all these problems rather than plastering Obaseki is solving problem from its source once and for all. And good morning, G. Good morning. Governor Obaseki cannot do everything for just 4 years. When they ask you what has Obaseki done, show them this report card. This is Oredo James Watt Road, Cook Road, Benin City, 23 number airport. I mean, it's so clumsy. I really can't understand what you're putting in there. But let me come back to our panelists here. This is coming in from some of our viewers. Do they make sense to us at all? Let me begin with Ahmed.
Yes, everything that they're saying makes sense. One of the prime essence of a democratic process are these contending discussions.
Okay.
There's a for and there's against.
Okay.
But there has to be a central point where we are able to say, these are the things I've promised and these are the things I've delivered. Okay. Those ones, facts, opinions are cheap, but facts should be sacred. Now, regardless of how anybody feels about me, my responsibility first as a citizen of Edo State is to question the sincerity of the development that the government is driving. And how do I do that? By being availed clearly, not opaquely, clearly, of all the facts and the figures. If they are saying that I'm making an uninformed commentary, I accept that. But now it is the onus of the government. He's not doing me a favor. They say he's not doing me a favor. He's paid by my tax money. It's his responsibility to answer every question, however irrelevant that question is, and not to look down and tell me that he's more intelligent. Let us use Jara as an example, because he keeps mentioning Jara. Jara is surrounded by a market that was recently on fire. What is the benefit, the cost benefit of having a Jara that is an elitist project right next to a market that was burnt down and has not been repaired? Now, during this period of the pandemic, we would have thought that this is when the government would have implemented some of these policies because the population is low. But those market women have come out, they even came out the other day to say the 100 million the governor promised them has not been given to them. It is not enough for you to be elitist in your approach. Governance is something the citizen must interact with. I have here a list from Vanguard Tuesday the 23rd, 2017. It's a list of all the roads in Edo State. The Edo State government came out and said they want pre-qualification for these contractors. How many of these roads have been completed? These are the questions that we should be asking. Even if all these projects, these grandiose projects are finished, we have to have roads to get there. The SA has admitted that even the road leading to Gelegele, I call it Gelegele because that's what everybody knows it as. You may be more intelligent than them, but you are serving them.
Yeah.
Now, all of these you are talking about, what's the other place called? The Secretariat Complex. Yes, it has been done, it has been built. We agree it's good. He has remodeled the stadium. We agree it's good. It is Edo people's money. He's not doing a favor. The other ones that he promised that are impacting directly, this is a list of over 300 roads. How many of them have been done to the standard that we are used to? We are happy that he mentioned that Obaseki is the engine room of Oshomole's development. Then the development has become standardized. We are not just talking about roads anymore. The Edo people expect the standard of airport road. We are talking of 2 lanes on either side with a median and walkway and drainage. That's what we are talking about. If you are talking about, he has taken it to a different level. Let us see the level. Let the SA tell me the road that Obaseki has done that is up to the standard of airport road. Okay, we are talking we can see. You just give me one like that. Okay. Okay, we are talking about several areas that you bring this, we may not understand. Then let us understand it. Let us know where the money came from, who is benefiting. You see, the most important thing in this interaction is this. If we agree that MOUs are beneficial, to the extent that the civil populace and their money is spent for that MOU, it is the debt of government to explain ad nauseum to the point of the basic that this is where we have spent your money, this is the benefit that is accruing. And I like the question that you asked. It's a very pertinent question. If Obaseki's administration is so forward thinking, some of these MOUs should have been given a shorter timeline, so that as they are rounding up on their first term, they will be able to present them to the Edo people and say, this is definitely what we've been done. Okay. You cannot just put out this MOU and say the MOU is continuing. No. Okay. Everybody is educated enough to know that MOUs are in stages.
Let me get a final word from the SM media, particularly on roads, because he brought a document to back up road projects earmarked for construction. To what extent have we made impact in that direction as we conclude now?
This government has constructed more roads than any government that has ever come to rule Edo State.
In line with the set standard of the present administration?
Hold on. Yeah. You know, all roads can be constructed to the extent of the design of airport road. Airport road is a road that leads to the airport, you know, in Edo State. So that's the reason why that road is constructed the way it's constructed. You can't construct the road leading to a farmyard the same way you construct a road that's leading to the airport. That's the intelligence I'm talking about. So you don't construct lanes and close the way you construct a trunk A road. Are you following me? So you have to design these roads according to the purposes that are going to be put to, the uses they're going to put to. So yes, we have roads that measure up to airport road. Okay. But for example, Textile Mill Road measures up to airport road. Okay. It has drains, it has a median because it needs to be so. Yeah. But the other smaller ones don't need to be so. I'm going to invite him in case if he doesn't, if he's if he has the time.
No, I'm happy to go. If he has the time, I'm happy to go.
If the anger of opposition will not make him.
No. We are civilized. There's no anger of opposition.
I will take you round Edo State. Okay. Beginning from Benin to Edo Central and Edo North. If you're willing to see all these projects, they are there.
Right, gentlemen, I'd like to thank you for your time because I'm going for our next set of discussions now on Edo 2020. As we x-ray the latest development there, bringing into the discussion the legal thoughts and perspectives on the Edo 2020 governorship election, particularly with the recent inauguration of fractional house in Edo State House of Assembly. Let me thank Ahmed Mahmoudou.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, and then SM Media, thank you, Spire, for your business.
Thank you.
So can we just have the handshake?
Oh, yes.
That's it. Okay.